agriculture and also in primary production. We'll look at exports and the global market access. How do we unlock international trade opportunities in agriculture? So more we will be looking at today, and we want it to be an engaging session. So we would want everybody to sit tight and be part of today's meeting. I'm super glad that we have our facilitator, our expert is in the house today. I'm super glad about it. She's no other person than Mrs. Bumi Awoyemi. She is an expert in supply chain. She's done a lot of work in the supply chain industry. She has a whole lot of community of SMEs that she supports in the area of agriculture, access to market, and other forms of support to farmers and processors. She's one of our in-house experts in Misedi. So Misedi Empowerment Initiative and Misedi Cooperative Society, we are promoting agriculture. Everybody can be involved in this sector. The sector is so wide, and the sector has a lot of untapped potential, especially in Africa. We want to contribute to the for Africa to be able to feed the world, because God has blessed us with a lot of natural resources. So I'm super excited at today's session. So without wasting our time further, I'm going to go straight to bringing our in-house expert, our expert for today, no other person than Mrs. Bumi, who will be taking it on from here. You're welcome, Mrs. Bumi Awoyemi. You're very welcome to today's session. So please, the floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, and good evening from Nigeria. Thank you to Misedi for inviting me to speak about agriculture in Nigeria. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, thanks for that. So basically, yes, I manage a community of SMEs and in different sector, not just agriculture. Yeah, but I have an agricultural community. There's a community for handcraft, and working in Misedi is a great opportunity as well. It's a good collaboration, and it's more of empowerment for small scale business owners in agriculture and other sectors. So we'll go straight into the crux of the matter. Agriculture in Nigeria. So I did a research on this. I work with a lot of partners in different areas where we discuss, we explore opportunities, look at where we can build capability for farmers, and access to market, like she just said. Access to market is a major challenge currently in Nigeria for the few people that have dared to go into agriculture. When we mean agriculture this time around, we are not talking about the entire agricultural value chain, talking about the planting, the crop production, the animal husbandry, and all whatnot. For those who have dared to go into such places, getting access to market, getting good value for their hard work and hard labor is a major, major, major challenge. So I believe some of us that are into this business know the current challenge with getting good value for your money. So just some data to give us an insight into what we have in Nigeria. We are blessed with a vast fertile land, about 7.8 million hectares of agricultural land area. Yet, we are short of food. When we mean we are short of food is the fact that we import a whole lot of food. And the inflation so far this year on food is as high as 60%. Sure, we can all confirm that what you usually will buy for 2,000 naira, you're practically buying for about 6,000 naira, or even more in some cases. On the average, we have more than 60% inflation in food at the moment. Then we have over 50% of agricultural produce that are lost to post-harvest issues. So I remember when we had COVID-19 issues, we saw pictures coming from the north of onions that are going bad, potatoes that are going bad, tomatoes that are going bad, because there was no means to bring them down to the south or available market where they will be sold. And all of this went to waste. That is a major concern. Post-harvest losses is major in Nigeria. Then when you talk about last mile logistics, if you look at a lot of logistics companies, they don't want to discuss agricultural produce. Go to the major farms around Nigeria. Before you see vehicles bringing food out to where they will be sold, you will know they've gone into very serious contracts, and those contracts do not come cheap. So the last mile logistics, getting it to consumers, is a very major challenge as well, right? So rice, even rice, which is a staple for all of us, and we've gotten a lot of attention from government in rice, we still have dwindling production. Today, production of rice is high. Tomorrow, it has declined. You have flood messing up everywhere. For livestock production as well, we have not exploited a lot. And where we have exploited, you just see a disease comes, clears up everything, and discourages the farmers without compensation from anyone to actually encourage them or motivate them to go back to what they were coming from. You all remember bird flu? It was a major hit on a lot of farmers, and most of them have actually not recovered. So all of these and many other challenges is why we have so much importation in Nigeria of food items, most of which we can produce locally, and especially we can produce organically. So you can never compare organic food to processed food or food that are produced in a different way just to keep them alive for a long time. And why do we eat food that are not organic? Because the majority of them are imported. So imagine importing rice from a certain country that produces large sum. Before they export rice to you, they will first of all, the first thing they will do is take care of their domestic needs. Once they're done with their domestic needs, they store whatever is left. And after several years, they are producing more and they have what is left. What does it take to send them to where they are needed? And imagine the number of months or years these products would have spent in warehouses before coming to us. And considering the long distance that it will travel, that's the lead time it takes to get to us, you want to preserve such food. For instance, if you're sending food from Nigeria, let's say grains, you're sending grains from Nigeria to any part of the world, it takes a long time for it to travel by sea. So for it to get there and still look fresh, you definitely want to preserve it. We cannot say NAFDA does not look at the chemicals used in preserving this food before they get to us. But how long can we continue to consume that, and what amount of that will really do to us in the long term? That is a major concern, right? So importation of food, yes, it's okay, but is that where we want to be? Does that fully satisfy us? Does that take out food shortages and give us food security in Nigeria? We spend so much on imports. And if we import from different places, you see, we import poultry product, fish, even services. Farm services we import, we bring people from abroad to come and teach us what to do, which is fine if we can learn from it and get better and all of that. We import from around the world, everywhere. Then at some point, federal government gave a waiver for food to be brought into the country because we had issues. And the waiver was to cover 150 days. Did we experience any reduction in price of food? No, it remained the same. The only thing that can help us with prices and give us staples of food, being a win-win but for both the farmers and the consumers, will be food security. Produce what you want to consume, majority of what you want to consume locally. So the key point I want us to understand is importation is not cheap. Importation is not necessarily safer, right? Only surplus will be sent to consumer countries. If we decide to always consume, surplus will be sent to us. With supply chain disruptions all around the world, you have 3 to 5 months lead time for food to get to you. Preservation will continue to happen. And preservation are not done by salt or pepper. You have chemicals going into this to make sure they stay fresh till they get to you. How about FX? There's a lot of demand on dollars. That's why we are at 1,570 today or even more, because we import practically everything, and food inclusive. That is very strange. With the vast arable land we have, we are spending a lot of our FX on food. Then you have job erosion. So when you are importing food, you import practically everything. What happens? People don't get jobs. The farmer in the bush that is trying to get food out for you, that are in the farms to get food out, to do not even have sufficient money from their hard labor, like I said, to send their children to school, to teach their children what to do, to keep their livelihood alive. So it's difficult to get jobs because we'll be speaking more of agricultural value chain. And each point in the value chain is a job creation point. When you do not develop your value chain and you keep importing another person's value chain into your country, you erode your country of job opportunities. That is very basic. Then ultimately our standard of living is largely affected. Today, a lot of persons are struggling. Please, let's not be deceived by those who are able to afford the standard of living we currently are facing. There are a lot more people than those sets that can't live within the standard that we have currently. People are suffering, people are poor, and there are some basic things that Nigerians should not lack, like food, clothing, housing. And a lot of these things will come from agricultural outputs. To build a house, you need a lot of things like wood, planks, for instance. That is part of agriculture. Forestry is agriculture, right? When you go into cloth making, we wear a lot of fabrics. We wear ashoebi every now and then. People are doing party. We are buying fabrics. A lot of these fabrics are made from agricultural produce. Cotton is planted before you get threads out of it. Wool, you get it from something. Silk, you get it from an animal. These are all agricultural outputs. So it's a very broad industry that would actually liberate any country that is serious with it. Yes, the government is doing a lot to get into it, but as individuals and as a team, we can as well start from our small space to explore all the opportunities available, collaborate, expand so that people will scale. The farmers will be excited to produce because they have people picking them up and believing in their products. So we'll go straight to the value chain. The value chain is very broad. What I'm going to list is not exhaustive, but this is just to give us an insight, to prompt us or to nudge us to do more research, to ask questions, to get insights, to actually try out some of these opportunities. And in the process, you might even find something different, or you can even build on whatever you have picked, and you see how big such opportunities are. They are enormous if you come to the agricultural value chain. So I will start with capability development. A lot of people want to go into agriculture, but they have no idea where to start from. They don't even know what it's about. They need someone to train them. Personally, I am not a farmer, but these are the kind of conversations I have with people in my community, trying to educate them on what they can do. What is your strength? Not all of us are built to be in the farm, to till the land, plant crops and harvest. Not everybody is built for that. Not everybody can take care of animals. Not everybody can do aquaculture. Not everybody can rear fishes, right? But you might have your own space where you will participate. So when people get enlightenment, they know where to dwell in. They don't just stay and say, oh, this is what is trending now. People are planting tomatoes. They go to their father's land and start planting tomatoes. They will run at a loss because they are not experts in that space. They are not passionate about that. They don't know, they don't have the knowledge, right? So that is the emphasis for me, particularly capability development. Educate people, show them the business sense in every step they take. The entrepreneurial spirit should be in them. When you're going into a space in agriculture, don't just jump into it because everyone is doing it. That knowledge has to be shared, and people should know before stepping into agrobusiness. So that's capability building. If you have the skill, if you have the knowledge in agriculture, you know you cannot farm, but you can teach people. Don't keep your knowledge. People are out there that need such knowledge. You can collaborate with my company, you can collaborate with Misedi, who is hosting this discussion today, and together we'll bring people out, young people, children, and tell them what agriculture is about, build their interest in it, and show them what they can do with it. Then the second one is production. So if you really have the strength, you have the capability, you have the resources to go into direct production, crop production, you go into animal husbandry, aquaculture, and all of that. Why not take it up? Some of us have massive family lands wasting away. Is this something you can explore? Do you need knowledge in it? Seek the knowledge and go into it massively, right? Remember, collaboration is key. While you are planting, you should already be thinking of how to get it out of the farm and into the market to get cash in return. It's very important. That's where collaboration comes into it. That's where capability development or capacity development comes into it. Ask questions, learn, train yourself, go for sessions, go for seminars, go for trainings, and be ready so that when you hit the ground, you make good of it. Then you have the third point, the third value chain I would like to mention is processing. That's where we have a lot of people currently. But the challenge with having so many processors, because that is what I think a lot of people are interested. I can't go to farm, I can't plant, I can't rear animals. But at some point, if we are not careful, we will not get the production happening that you can process, right? But processing is a very important value chain. Like I would always say, do not export 100% what you produce from your farms. When you export everything, you are definitely going to import 100% what you're going to consume, right? Like a priest that gave us a session some time ago put it, which was aptly captured, is the fact that you export poverty, you export wealth and import poverty. That is what it means. If you export all of the cocoa you have produced in Nigeria as a country, you will import cocoa-based products, canned, bottled, and put in different pack sizes. You're going to buy them, bring them into the country. You will buy it because you do not add value at all. In the process of adding value to that cocoa, you would employ a whole lot of people. You'll be exporting finished products to another country that you don't have to return in another form, right? So that means when you process your produce fully and you sell it within the country and outside of the country, you are exporting wealth, right? And you are not importing poverty. Because immediately you export your crop and you import finished products like we were doing with crude oil, we are importing poverty big time, right? I remember those days when we were little. At least we all read from the books. Some of us were not born. When there was a lot of granite pyramid in the north, palm oil farms in the east, cocoa farms in the southwest. And I asked, what did we do with the product? They said they were exporting everything. So did you eat groundnut oil later? Yes. Okay, we imported it. What about cocoa-based powders? What do you do? Chocolate, you imported, right? So all of that, you export your wealth and import poverty because immediately you import finished goods, you have eroded all the jobs that led from the raw material to that finished goods. You've eroded it. You've sold it to another country and you're importing. So that is very, very important. Processing is one area that I think a lot of us can focus on to help these farmers. The tomato that wastes in the north, somebody can convert it to different products, ketchups, tomato paste, and all of that. The onions that are going to waste, we buy onion powder every day. Somebody can convert them to onion powder. And I'm excited with the fact that this is very big in Nigeria at the moment. A lot of people are processing food and selling to our people in the diaspora. Very commendable. But I think the opportunity there is still very vast, very, very vast. We have not explored up to 10% of it. The world needs to see Nigerian food and see it on the shelf in their supermarkets and pick up. Not all the time making us a raw material source, which is also good, but it should not be 100% of our products that goes out as raw materials. We should also process what we eat locally and process what we sell in addition to raw materials. So I'll go straight to the next point, which is distribution and sales. That is another value chain you can pick as a business. It's an opportunity that you can actually capture now and make good of. If you have a Sienna vehicle, for instance, you have a pickup van. There are a lot of farm clusters around right now. Misedi has a lot of farm clusters. I work with some farm clusters as well. We have eggs, there are chicken, you have tomatoes, you have ginger, you have different kind of spices around the country. Can you organize and start moving those products to where they are needed? That is logistics and sales. Remember, beyond logistics and sales, you also have marketing opportunities. I will add that to this. So if you live in an estate, for instance, everybody wants to eat healthy, right? Nobody wants to eat an unhealthy food anymore. We are all going organic. Oh, I want to eat. If it is not produced, I don't want to eat. If it's not produced locally, if it's not from the farm, I don't need it. Right? Most people want that. We don't want to eat adulterated food. I hear palm oil is adulterated these days. You want to buy honey, you are practically buying sugar, burnt sugar, and all of that. There are people that want to be sure that what they are consuming is organic and is directly from the farms. You can take advantage of that to help them. You go into your cluster, maybe your church, your school, your office where you work, your estate, build a cluster of buyers. Then you talk to clusters that you already know. Every month, everybody knows that, oh, this food will come. Yam will come from here, potatoes, this and all of them. You already have a list of what you can supply them. They look forward to it and they pay, right? You subscribe for such, you go to the farm clusters, you pick these things together and deliver to people. That is a very great opportunity. So it's like a monthly supply that you do within that cluster of yours. It's a great opportunity in the agro space, right? So it's something you can take advantage of. Transport and logistics. Do you have vehicles? Do you want to be part of agriculture by transporting these goods? Do you have cold vehicles? I know some people used to have this van used for chilling drinks, right? So there are different vehicles like that. There are products that cannot travel a long distance without staying in a cold chain environment. What can you do in that space? Can you go into that business and say, okay, I will help you lift it. When you are done processing your chicken, pack them in this manner, pack them in this manner. I will come pick up. This is my cost. If the person is sure that you're always available to pick up product, trust me, you become the dedicated transport person that does that business. And you get being recommended to different people. So, do you need to move this? Call this person. You need to. That is how business starts. That is another part of the value chain that creates a lot of employment. People do it already. We know the number of trucks that move from the north to the south every minute, coming with foodstuff, right? So if you cannot deal with north to the south, you can deal within your vicinity at least to get this food to people. For a start, transport and logistics is a big business in agriculture. Not just food, you move other things, machineries, you assist with different things. It's not just the food you'll be bringing out. Oh, we need to get packs of one, you need baskets to deliver products. This is where we are picking from. You go, you pick them up and deliver to them. Not free of charge, definitely. It all comes with some benefits. Then I will go to another value chain, which is very specialized. And that area will be the medical and research area. We have veterinary doctors. I remember when I was still in school, someone tells me study veterinary medicine. I'm always like, really? Are you joking? Of all courses, veterinary medicine, what animal are you going to care? That is how bad it has gotten. Yes, yet we have need for meat every day. We have need for eggs every day. We even have need for animal skin every day for leather making. How do we keep these animals if we cannot keep them healthy? That is where veterinary doctors come in. They are actually as important as the doctors that cater for humans, because what you consume is very, very important. If you consume good food, you have limited visits to medical doctors yourself. You'll be very healthy. So veterinary medicine and basic treatment of animals is a value chain that I think should be built. And if you're already into that space, don't relax that because you're a veterinary doctor, I don't have a job. Yes, you might even be working in a bank, but don't let go because agriculture is growing. It's a vast area. You can contact Misedi, you can contact myself so that we can tell you if when there are opportunities within the farm clusters, you will definitely be informed and your help will definitely come handy. Then research. There are a lot of information that we do not have in Nigeria, a whole lot, right? Researches are required. Different areas of agriculture requires different innovative ideas, requires ingenious ideas for improvement, for growth, for advancement, right? I know there are some products, people complain of GMO products, which is good and fine. But in the area of agribusiness, I work largely with a partner that also partners with Shongai farms. And we've had conversations and I've listened to presentation from Shongai farms. And what I hear marvels me. Okay, for instance, you have some product that require, oh, this product is having issues. We need to spray these certain chemicals to bring them back alive. But you have a company like Shongai that got into research and come up with organic solutions to some of these issues. You can take part in that. Research is key. If you're a scientist and you're interested in agriculture, these are some of the things you should look at. Do researches, write papers, meet with research institute. We have IITA in Nigeria and several other research institutes. Meet with them, do researches with them, and definitely you will not go unnoticed. You will earn something from all of your work. So that is another part of the agricultural value chain. How about trainers? We have people that have studied agroeconomics, people that are extension service workers. We have people in service, in finance, people in supply chain. Just like every other business, agriculture is a full-time business and requires all of these work streams to succeed. When it comes to supply chain, which is my own area, how do you source your input materials, your fertilizers, your animal feeds, even the water you use in your farm, everything that you use, your tools, your implements, your safety wares, everything that you use in your farm, how do you source them? Where do you source them? How cheaply do you, how expensive? What's the cost? How do you manage the cost of these materials to ensure that you are profitable, right? What kind of conversations? How do you negotiate? What kind of conversations are you having to ensure that you are operating at minimal cost, yet churning out good products? In finance, a lot of people are doing businesses, as the same with agricultural businesses. They do not even have their finances documented. They don't know if they are making profit. Some people are used to, oh, I went to the market today, I sold and came back. If you go to them and sit with them, do a thorough calculation of their business, they are not making any profits. But because money is entering their hand, they're happy. They think they're making profit. So you might need such, you can train people in that area, build templates for them that will help them manage their finances. Call them together as clusters. You have people sponsoring them to train them to know how to basic bookkeeping and all of that. We had such a training in my community once, and it was very helpful for a lot of people. So you need such trainings to tell you, okay, don't just say, oh, I'm running business. If I ask you today, what is your capital? What did you use to start this business? Do you know? No. Some people have spent it. And the next supply they want to do, they go to their husbands or they go to their bank account, collect another cash and run the business again. That is not a business for me, right? So basically, it's something you can delve into. Train people on their finances, train people on how to manage their plants, their crops, how to apply their fertilizers, how to manage irrigation, how to set their pipes, all of that. You can be a trainer. That is a part of the agro value chain that you can also do and capture as a business for yourself. Another opportunity that I would like also is services and supplies. You have people that supply energy. What kind of energy do you need in the farm? Shongai Farms actually also marveled me when I learned that we are visiting very soon. And interesting thing is the fact that they generate their own electricity from biogas and different renewable means. Can you do that? If you're able to build a biogas plant, for instance, you think farmers will buy? Even beyond farmers, other companies, other industries will patronize you. That's another part of agro-value. We need energy in the farms, right? Feeds. The last time we checked, animal feeds were skyrocketing in prices. You go to a poultry farmer, it tells you feed is very expensive. That's why egg is expensive. Can you work on animal feeds that will become quite affordable for these farmers? And will stop all the imported ones, because a lot of materials are imported to incorporate in these feeds. That's why they're expensive. Can you do something that will be affordable and help business people? That is a value chain you can decide to pick up. That is an opportunity, right? How about the tools we use in the farms? I saw a machine recently that it looks like a box. You drop it on the feed and it clears the entire, it just goes on its own, right? Like a robot. In a farm, very strong. And I'm like, wow, who built this? Definitely from China. Is this something we can do in-house? Our local fabricators build a lot of tools. Is this something we can collaborate with them to build? Do you want to consider this opportunity as part of the value chain, as part of the services you can render? So there are a whole list of services, but like I had emphasized earlier, the most critical one at the moment is food processing. Food processing. We don't want the after or post-harvest waste. We should look at food processing to encourage the farmers. As they are planting and they are harvesting, you are buying off them. So they get money for their work, you get money from processing, you employ people, and you export edible things, fully functional products. So basically, I will stop here, and I want to believe that we have picked up opportunities that we can actually run with. And if there are questions at this point, I think I can pick them, and then we'll discuss more. If you have your own points that you think you can add, please feel free to do that. I will stop here. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Misedi, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Awoyemi. Thank you very much. Such a very interesting session. Okay, so want to take 1 minute pause for questions. I don't know if anyone has any questions right now. I would want you to tell us in practical, like in one of this value chain, how to start one of those businesses. So what is the market potential, like in practical, in any of the value chain? And what kind of capital is required to start? Please, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So I had emphasized on food processing. I would speak to food processing as a part of the value chain. For food processing, I would say largely it's difficult to actually pin a capital to it because it depends on the individual, how big you want to start or how small you want to start, right? But basically, the best way to start is you first scout around for your source. Myself and a colleague were arguing the other day, like, okay, when the Dangote issue was going on and off, oh, Dangote is not getting crude from NNPC and all of that. And we are like, wow, our supply chain people, who goes into a business without knowing where the source of material would be or confirming and sealing the source of material, right? So basically, yeah, I know the Dangote story is different. It's a lot more than we can discuss. It's deeper than we know. So, but basically, food processing, first things first, scout around and identify your source. You must know what you want to process. Do you want to process cocoa, like I said? Do you want to process cashew? Do you want to process cassava into gari or whatever? What do you want to process? First, know that. If you are aware of that, you should understand, look into the market. Oh, what does the market look like? I'll give an example of gari. I'm not sure there is a home in Nigeria that doesn't consume gari, right? Or practically everybody in Nigeria eats gari. It's a Nigerian meal across the country. But where you are currently domiciled is where your focus should be first. Don't jump from, you're in Lagos, for instance, and you leave Lagos, you say, oh, I want to sell my gari in Abuja. Yes, you might have someone that is interested in Abuja, but the first place to start, where you can actually draw your feasibility study on, is where you are currently located or where you are positioned. So if it's gari processing, you first understand what the market is like. Who is your target market? Who are the people you want to sell to? Are they people that will buy in bags? Do you want to sell to people that will buy in small sealed sachets? Right? So if you know your target market, oh, this is how I want to sell it, then you do a research in that area. Who are the people in this market? You can just browse to see, oh, there are a few people producing this gari. You can walk up to some supermarket, you see some brands already, definitely. Or if there are no brands in that business and you know it's something people consume, the population of that country, you go to online, you will know the population that consumes gari. Just do your research, go online, check the population. Then the most important thing, like I always say, is scout for your source, right? Do you want to buy bags of gari and rebag, or do you want to process the gari yourself? If you want to process yourself, where do you get cassava? What kind of machineries do you need? How much will it cost? Do you want to buy bags of gari and rebag? Where is gari already being processed that I can buy and come back to rebag? So you must understand your source. When you get your source, don't just go and say, oh, this is where we buy from. And you come, how much is it per ton? They tell you, you come back home. No, you calculate what it costs per ton, what's the cost of transporting it to where you will process it, right? When you're talking of cost, total cost of transporting, what's the cost of fuel? What's the cost of the wear and tear on your car? It depends on where you're taking it from. Some roads are so bad that you know every time you travel that road, you're fixing your car. You must bring that cost in. You must have a total cost. How many people do you need to rebag? What kind of machines do you need to rebag? What kind of registration do you need? Do you need NAFDAC? If you're taking it outside the country, what kind of registration do you need to be able to export it? And all of that. Do you need You check all of this and know what your cost will be. So once you are familiar with your costs, then you can sit back and start calculating what your growth would look like. How do you want to grow? Oh, I'm starting with, maybe you want to go through supermarkets. I'm starting with the first 5 supermarkets that are close to me. They are quite familiar. Let me start with them to start dropping it there. Okay, in church, I have this number of people. I will start advertising. So you need to understand how you want to market it first. When you know how to market it, where do you want to start your display from? Where do you want to first start selling? From there, you can say, okay, after 6 months, I want to move from where I am to the next community in that manner. So you have to draw that plan, how you want to progress over time. Some people do it up to 5 years. In 5 years' time, I want to fully cover Nigeria so that my name will be in every single home. You can draft all of that. So most of this is what is called business plan in summary. I'm not giving you step by. If you go in online, I just say you want to draft a business, you get a template, but you need to put in your inputs. A lot of people get templates for business plans and they don't know how to proceed. So you need to get your business plan template, then you start putting in your inputs. Make sure you do detailed calculations yourself, because your source of getting it will determine the capital, your initial capital outlay, right? The machineries you need, the kind of registration. NAFDAC is not free of charge, so you definitely pay. Have you registered your business or not? What will it cost you to register with CAC? All of that. Do you need trademark? What's the cost for trademark? So you need all of this calculation, put them together to arrive at your cost. You arrive at your cost, then you progress on, oh, how do I want to market? How do I talk to people that need it? Do I need to do voice, face-to-face conversation with my friends? Definitely. I need to walk up to the supermarket, give them flyers, or do I tell them verbally, right? What will my social media look like? That's digital marketing. Do I want to use influencers to promote Gary or whatever it is you're selling? How do you want to proceed? Understand all of this and the cost implications. So when that is done, then even when you have identified your source, even when you have identified your source for all of this, make sure it's not just one source. I always tell people, someone said the other day that, oh, this is where I buy this thing from. I said, where's the alternative source of supply? Oh, okay, these people are the best. I'm not sure I can get elsewhere. So what if they stop business today? What if they fold up? She said, no, they can't fold up. They are big. I said, no, you don't do that. Don't ever have one source. You can't tell me you have only one person who is capable to give you your specifications. Go around, as you're working with them, go around, look for alternative source so that when this person is failing, you have this to back up. Make sure your product does not leave your customer's face. They need to continually see it and be able to get it to buy. So you need to do all of this. Document them. It's easy to forget. Document them so that you can trace and do all of that. So you can track or go back as more like a reference point from time to time to know what you have done right, what you need to improve on. Trust me, there's no one solution to this. Yes, the business plan can be, oh, the same template, but remember, there's no one is peculiar. Everybody's own is peculiar, right? Because you don't all live in the same place. You don't all deal with the exact same customer. You might be in the same customer segment, but you don't all deal with the same customer. You do not have the same financial capabilities. You do not have the same technical know-how or knowledge when it comes to this business. So you have to draft yours, know your strengths, know your weakness on how to improve on them, see the opportunities out there, and draw out a plan on how to harness them. Also understand your threats. What is it that can run you out of this business? Understand it and already have a strategy on how to mitigate any of such eating your business. So basically, that's what I would advise. Food processing. Pick what you want to process, study it. If it doesn't work for you, you already see that, no, I can't cope with this. Look for the next one that you know you can work with, right? And start from there. With time, you will grow into other food that you never thought you would be able to handle. Because as your knowledge and capability increases, you will delve into even more risky spaces and you will succeed in them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have seen the different kind of value chain that we can delve in. We still have a few minutes more. I wanted us to see if it's possible for us to take one particular crop for processing or one particular chain, and how do we practically step by step start the business? What are the first things to put in place to start the business? Mrs. Awoyemi, do we still have time to cover that? If it's
Yeah.
just the intro part of it.
Yeah, so I would say basically what I mentioned now would actually suffice. First, to start a business is first draw your business plan. Draw your business plan. Pick any product. Like I said, the same process like I just mentioned is what will be used for any product at all. Any product you're picking, you must have a feasible plan, fully spelled out, documented in a way that you can follow it through, right? So with the limited time we have, I'm not sure we can do a practical of a single one right now, but I think it's something that can be worked on. But to be sincere, like I always say, it is personal, and it's largely something anybody should sit and do on their own. Then you can come up with questions. So for anybody that wants to do and that is thinking of food processing, you pick a particular product, run through it based on what I've just explained, get details down, and wherever you have questions, feel free to send them across. And let's see how we can discuss it. If we can't handle it, we have people that can. We'll discuss it.
So much. So in a recap from what she has said today, she has mentioned the different value chain that in agriculture. One of them that stood out for me is the research opportunity. I think which is still very still developing in Nigeria. A lot of persons have not gone into the except institutions like IITA, other institutions like ERI and other kind of big institutions, right? Well, it's still an opportunity where we can look at different agricultural practices, and then we can have those research, what works best for our climate in Nigeria, what kind of practices or what kind of seedlings, research to specific seeds and into specific area. So those are opportunities. And I know you can write for grants for this work to be done. And one of the takeaways for me also today is that for any business you want to start in the agri value chain, you have to start with a business plan. So the business plan will help you determine which market do you want to cover. Do you want to cover local market or do you want to cover the export market? So this plan will help you determine that. Also, the business plan will help you to fine-tune your startup capital. How much do you need based on other resources that you need? So the business plan will help you clearly determine your startup capital, and also it will now help you determine your projection. You can do financial analysis projection for 3 years. You can do a financial analysis projection for 5 years, and it will help you determine when do you break even, what do you need to have in place in terms of capital before you can break even. And if you can't do it yourself, we have experts that can support you to do it. Misedi is here to support in those kind of areas, obviously at a fee. And we have in-house experts like Mrs. Awoyemi Bumi and other experts. We have Mr. Emmanuel in Jimo. We have we have financial experts also. So you can go into any of businesses. And one critical point that she said is in determining which of this agribusiness you want to go into, you need to determine what location you are. Location will determine the kind of comparative advantage you have in specific value chain. If there are already existing resources in those environments, that gives you an advantage. So your location where you are also determine the kind of value chain you want to go into. So she talked about the multi-dollar opportunity in logistics in storage. So storage is one big gap that we have in Nigeria. So we have a lot of post-harvest losses. because of storage facility. So you can partner and start and have a storage, a warehouse. You can, if you have your property or if you have space, you can convert it to a storage, ensure that the temperature and the conditions are right, for the lighting are right, for the kind of commodity you want to store. The advantage of storage is that you store when the crop, the commodity is in season, and then you sell when it is off season. It helps to allow for there not to be scarcity, for there not to be waste, and also it helps to, is also a very good profitable businesses. There are different